Welcome! In this video we will add different sections with actual content to our website. But first we need to show people that this is not the end of the page and that they can scroll down. Let's use a little icon for that. Again from Font Awesome. So we go to fontawesome.com and search for a downward facing arrow. This chevron down looks nice. Let's copy it and add it to our index.html. Let's try to align our arrow in the middle. In order to do this, let's use a div as a parent element. Let's give this div an ID so we can style it. We don't use a class here since we won't use the styling again. It's very specific. Now let's style this div. With a number sign we can target an ID. And we need the arrow down ID. First let's center it with the text align center. Now let's give it some space. Margin 0.5 em. Now we can reload the page and this looks nice. Okay, now let's get some content on the page. For the different content we are going to build different sections. There is actually an HTML element for that, so let's use it. Section. Inside we're going to have a header. Let's make it h2 and this will be the about section. Now we'll start using the Bootstrap grid. The Bootstrap grid helps us to lay out a page, so we can easily choose where we want our elements like text to be and how they should be ordered. So the grid is similar to a table element. We can specify the rows and inside the rows we can specify the columns. There is an amount of 12 columns per row that we can use. This may sound a bit complicated, but you will see how this works. If you still have questions, have a look at the explanation here on the website. Let's copy this simple example. We just need one row and one column. We can link the amount of the columns to the divide width. So on a smaller device, we want it to be 12 of the 12 columns. But on a larger screen, just 6 of the 12 columns. Because we don't want to have the whole text across the side. I will show you this later. Now I add a heading, but a smaller one, h4. And I will add some emojis that describe what I'm doing. Just to add some color and fun. Learning, building, blockchain. Actually on Windows it doesn't look so good, but most people have Android or iPhones. There they will look better. Let's separate this from the text that we're going to write with an HR element. This will look like a line. And now the text with a paragraph element. I will copy some text in here. The BR is a line break because I want to start the text on a new line. Okay, let's see how this looks like. Well, we need to style it. Let's give our section some space. We can do this with a padding. In contrast to the margin, this will be on the background of our div. Let's center the text. Okay, I don't like the heading. Let's make it a bit bigger. Now we can target the section and just add the h2 element inside it. Here we use the unit rem, which is similar to em, but this unit orientates itself on the font size of the root element, not the current element. Let's make the font bolder and let's give it some space at the bottom. Let's see what this looks like. Great. Now let's check out how this looks on a laptop. Okay, here's something wrong. Our column is not in the middle of the screen. We can adjust this by saying that we want the top margin to be 0 and the margin on the left and right should be auto, which means that it will be centered. But since we are probably using this more often, let's make this a own class and call it div center. Let's add our margin 0 auto and add it to our HTML. Okay, we're done with the about section. Enough talk about ourselves. Now let's show what we have done. Let's copy the section before so we have something to start with. But this one will be called projects. And we are also going to have some different content. Let's get a new Bootstrap component. I want to use cards. This looks nice, but let's get more of them. Card decks. This is what I want to use. It looks really nice on a big screen. Okay, let's paste the code in here. I have some images for the project that I did. Again, they are quadratic. So if you need to cut your images, you can use free image editing software like Pixlr that we have seen before. Okay, let's start with the oldest one, Proud. We need the Proud logo and it's called Proud. I prepared some text for this and this was from 2009 to 2014. Okay, let's do this for the other projects as well. The last one will be the Kate. As you can see in the atom preview, we now always have to scroll down to see the changes. In a browser, we can immediately see the changes. So let's use this for styling. Let's make the background a different color and the text in the boxes, let's align it on the left. Okay, this looks good in the boxes, but our heading is on the left too now. Let's take care of this. First, let's copy our color and text align. Let's give this whole section a new ID. I will call it projects. And now we can paste it into the project style. Let's leave the heading in the center. Great. Now let's get a little bit fancy. Let's add some shadows. I have already a value of shadows that I like. I will paste this in here. You can see it here on the left Proud card. But you can play around with it and adjust it. Let's make the shadow a bit stronger. And copy this again. And add this to the class card. Because there is already a class for all our elements that we want to give a shadow. We can just target this. Nice. Here it is on the desktop. Also nice. In the next video we are going to add a carousel to show some images. And finish our website.